I want to talk about Slate because this excites me. Incredible social media tool being used throughout the sports industry. You guys are growing rapidly. You have a lot of teams that you're working with, and we'll get into that. As a content guy myself, I love digging into productivity style tools of working more efficiently, but I'm also fascinated with the ideation process. Does it really help, and did it really kick it off that you're working in digital media, you're working in social communities, you understand where those problem areas are? Did that help you identify the problem that Slate could fix, and is that where it all kind of took off from?
Yeah, exactly. And like I mentioned, like we have four co-founders total. One of my co-founders, Michael Horton, and I, work together at the Niners. So he was a video producer and I was a social media manager. So we kind of lived that problem. I would ask him to make sure any video he sends us for social is cut in 1 by 1 square for Instagram feed, or it's optimized in 9 by 16 for Snapchat, or like, hey, we need to start incorporating more overlays and more things, and it would go back and forth between us because he was the video producer and I was the one posting social content, and that kind of problem only increased as more and more content got posted on social media, in the years that followed and more platforms, came out. And when I was at the NFL, I was still doing a lot of social content, and I had to do a lot of it myself from my phone, at international games in London, at different events, creating content for the different channels that we were managing, or sending it to the folks who manage content internationally. And I found myself trying to edit and produce content on the fly. And, it wasn't kind of in that moment that I thought that this tool would be helpful, but it was in a later moment when Michael and I were talking about a conversation he had through his other company with a brand that said they wanted to be able to, type in their own fonts on top of video and photo. And it kind of just clicked from there, like, not just your own fonts, basically everything you could do in social media, overlays, stickers, GIFs, quick video edits, everything that's now native to platforms like TikTok and Instagram stories, like how they allow consumers to produce content with ease that is, fun and has a ton of creative elements to it. A brand should be able to do that with all of their creative elements, not the creative elements that Instagram gave you. And when we talked about that, I thought about when I worked at the 49ers, how helpful that would have been to have. And he understood that too, based on his experience within sports and social media, and on the video editing side, being a producer. So definitely couldn't have done it without, or wouldn't have really thought of the idea without having had the experience, beforehand. And then also the experience beforehand helped us break into these markets, right? So we had
Yeah.
connections and teams and leagues, and we could really test it sounded great to us, but do other social media teams that, in sports and otherwise feel the same? And we were lucky enough to be able to get those people on the phone pretty quickly. And then we realized, oh yeah, this is a pain point that we're solving for them. And it's something that, makes sense to keep doing.